This is an exceptional place to start the day. We're sitting beneath Balancing Rock at Chillagoe Caves and just watching the sunlight just illuminate all of these amazing spires of limestone. We're just kickstarting our adventure across the southern edge of Cape York. The Coral Sea is about 200k that way, and the Gulf of Carpentaria is about 600k's that way, and that's where we're headed on the Burke Developmental Road. It's not much more than a thin ribbon of dust and dirt, but all the big rivers and the great bush camping and the fishing, that's what we're really excited about. But right now, we're just going to enjoy this place and then off to Mungana Archways. We'll check out some Aboriginal art there and have a poke around the caves. What do you think, May?
Yep.
Is it going to fall on us?
Yeah.
What about if you pushed it?
We're inside Bohemia Cave. There's probably about 40 metres of limestone above us, and we've just shimmied down a chute to get to this little space here. There's plenty more tunnels to explore below us. It's one of about 700 caves that have so far been discovered at Chillagoe, about 2 hours inland from Cairns. But this one's particularly special because you don't need to join a National Park Ranger-led tour to explore it. All you need is a sense of adventure and a couple of good torches, because it's pretty dark down here. I think I heard some bats.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go and see if we can squeeze through some of this rock.
Okay.
See you later. All right. Okay. Down here. All right, I heard some noises coming.
We're travelling the Burke Developmental Road. There's no towns out here to measure distance and location, but we're about halfway between the crossings of the Lynd and the Staten rivers. And we've just pulled up to watch this big wedge-tail eagle that's feeding on a bit of roadkill, small wallaby over there. And he's not too fussed about us being here. He doesn't want to leave his prize, so he's letting us observe him while he tucks into dinner. I've also got this little snake that's slithered up quite close actually to see what we're about. It's flickering, but it's keeping its distance. There's a lot happening out here. There's some kites that are kind of waiting on the fringe for the wedge-tail to have its fill and then move on. Lots of lagoons and lots of water birds out here too. But this is the most interesting thing that we've seen in the last few minutes. We've just woken up on the Staten River. I've really been looking forward to getting to this spot. It's my favourite camp on the route. Really quiet and beautiful. Last night we had it all to ourselves. We did hear what we thought was a big road train rumbling towards us about dusk, and it turned out to be this massive colony of flying foxes coming up from the sea and following the Staten River all the way inland. They were so close to us, just a couple of metres overhead, and we could see them and smell them and hear them, and it was the most incredible experience. After that, nothing but quiet. It was a big wildlife day yesterday. Lots of water birds, brolgas and sarus cranes and egrets and herons, all close to us on those lovely roadside lagoons covered with lilies. Here we've seen lots of wildlife too. We've seen lots of water birds, and along this sandbar slides from freshwater crocodiles. Last night we spotted some red eyes just over near the bridge. So we've been sticking to these little shallow lagoons here, just some sandy pools that are just filled with tiny fish and mussels for our water play. It's a lovely quiet spot. Got a couple more of these camps before we hit Karumba. So we're just going to take our time and just relax. No hurry today. Caves on the road, and it looks like there might be a pool of water, but it's kind of the heat off the road sort of shimmering. And they say in the old days that the pioneers and the stockmen, they would see these mirages on the horizon and think that it was a water hole where they could get a drink, and the hotter and thirstier they got, the more they were convinced that the mirages were water holes. They keep moving towards them and they never appeared. This is what one night of rain does to the Burke Developmental road. Turns all the bull dust into these big muddy boggy puddles. We had a pretty nervous night camped on the Gilbert, wondering if we were going to get out and get into Karumba, but with just 70k left to the bitumen, I'm pretty sure we're going to get there just a little bit dirtier. We finally hit Karumba after 600 k's of mud and bull dust on the Burke Developmental Road. We've had a great adventure. We've had every single riverside camp entirely to ourselves and passed only a couple of guys in utes the whole time. Now we're in Karumba. It's famous for its big barramundi and its mud crabs, and as being the only town on the Queensland side of the Gulf of Carpentaria that you can access via the bitumen. But that route isn't nearly as much fun as the Burke. And if you want to get remote and enjoy some blissful solitude on these gorgeous big Queensland rivers, then you really can't beat a trip on the Burke. But now it's time to explore Karumba and perhaps linger to watch the sunset west.